off the presses.
Oh my gosh.
We're here in Fort Worth at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Wow.
Look, that's great. That's great.
Have you ever wondered how the concept of money came to life? Who decided a piece of paper could be worth something? Or how metal discs turned into coins we use every day? And more importantly, how are these bills and coins actually made? From ancient trade to high-tech printing presses, the story of money is full of history, innovation, and a whole lot of security. Stay tuned till the end as we take you behind the scenes into vaults, factories, and secrets few ever see, and discover how money is really made. The origins of money. Before the greenbacks, there was barter, gold, and trust. Before there were wallets full of cash or credit cards in our pockets, people had to get creative to get what they needed. If you were a farmer with wheat but needed shoes, you'd have to find a shoemaker who wanted wheat. That kind of trade is called barter, and it worked, until it didn't. The problem? Barter depends on both people wanting what the other has, at the same time. No wheat, no shoes. So over time, people started using items that held value, like shells, salt, or even livestock, as early forms of currency. But as societies grew, trade got more complicated. People needed something easier to carry, count, and trust. That's when metal coins changed everything. Around 600 BCE, the ancient kingdom of Lydia, in what's now Turkey, minted the first coins made of precious metals like gold and silver. These coins had a consistent weight and symbol stamped onto them. People could now trade without arguing over the value of a goat or how many sacks of barley equal a sword. As historian Niall Ferguson once said, "Money is trust inscribed." That trust started with coins, and it worked. Centuries later, in 7th century China, the first known paper money appeared. It was lighter than coins, easier to carry, and backed by the emperor's promise. The idea slowly spread to Europe, and by the 1600s, early banks began issuing banknotes, pieces of paper representing a claim on real gold or silver held in a vault. Now fast forward to early America. After gaining independence, the United States didn't have a central money system. In fact, from the early 1800s to the mid-1860s, over 1,600 different banks printed their own currency. That meant more than 7,000 unique designs were floating around. It was confusing and perfect for counterfeiters. One politician at the time called it a national mess of monopoly money. Eventually, the US created a standardized system, but the idea remains. Money is only as strong as the trust behind it. And that brings us to the modern age. So who exactly prints the dollars we use today, and how does it all work? Let's take a look at the real money-making machines behind the US dollar. Who prints America's money? Meet the money-making machine, the US Mint and the Bureau of Engraving and Printing.
Bureau of Engraving and Printing.
Another woman, Charlene Williams, oversees the production of America's paper money
This is a tool that is used for hand engraving.
at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing.
Most people think the US government just prints money. And while that's true, it's only half the story. In reality, there are two different factories responsible for making the money we use every day, and they handle very different things. Coins? That's the job of the US Mint. Paper bills? That belongs to the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, often called the BEP. As they like to say, if it jingles, it's the Mint. If it folds, it's the BEP. The US Mint was established way back in 1792 and is responsible for making all the nation's coins, from pennies to quarters to shiny new dollars. The Mint's largest facility is in Philadelphia, but there are also major branches in Denver, San Francisco, and West Point. Their job doesn't stop at coins. They also make military medals and collectible coins for investors. The BEP came along later, founded in 1862 during the Civil War, when the government needed to print massive amounts of paper money quickly. The BEP is based in Washington, D.C., with a second big facility in Fort Worth, Texas. This is where your dollars, tens, 20s, and hundreds are born. Together, these two agencies fall under the U.S. Treasury Department, and combined, they produce a staggering $650 million worth of coins and bills every single day. What's wild is the scale of it all. The BEP alone covers over 2 million square feet, employs more than 2,000 people, and runs 24/7. Their machines are massive. Their security is next level, and every single bill that rolls off the line is carefully inspected. But behind all that machinery is a simple goal: making money that people can trust. The durability, design, and security of our currency, one Treasury official said, reflect the strength and stability of the nation itself. So how exactly do they turn cotton and metal into money? What goes into making a bill feel real? and almost impossible to fake. Let's open the door to the printing floor and follow the step-by-step process of how bills are actually made. How bills are made, step by step. From cotton pulp to crisp hundreds. The birth of a banknote. If you've ever held a US dollar and felt how strong and crisp it is, that's not by accident. It's not even made from regular paper. In fact, American money is made from a special blend of cotton and linen, not wood pulp like most paper. That's part of what makes it so durable and so hard to fake. US currency isn't just printed, it's engineered, said one BEP worker. And it shows. The special paper comes from a private company called Crane & Company, based in Dalton, Massachusetts, which has been supplying currency stock since 1879. Their formula is top secret. But we do know this. It's 75% cotton, 25% linen, and loaded with security threads, color fibers, and watermarks, all baked in during production. Once that paper arrives at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, it goes through several printing stages. The first is called offset printing, where subtle background colors and patterns are applied.
What we do here, making money.
She showed us how the US dollar is created, a process that begins with an order from the Federal Reserve.
If you are looking at producing a 5, 10, 20, 50, 100, the first stage of the operation is called offset printing. It's where you simultaneously print the back and the face of the sheet at the same time, and then it dries for 72 hours.
Then comes intaglio printing, where high-pressure steel plates push ink deep into the paper. This is what gives money its raised feel, that texture you can run your fingers across. If you can't feel the ink, experts say, it's probably fake. After that, the overprinting stage adds the finishing touches. Serial numbers, the Treasury seal, and the Federal Reserve seal. Each sheet contains 32 bills, and once all layers are done, it's left to dry for several days. Then comes inspection.
The sheets are then inspected, and then they go to what is called large examining printing equipment. That's the final processing stage of where your Federal Reserve seal, serial numbers, and Treasury seal are incorporated onto the final note.
Machines with high-resolution cameras scan each bill, looking for even the tiniest smudge or misprint. If a bill doesn't meet the standard, it's pulled. Only the flawless ones make it to cutting and packaging. The final step is slicing the giant sheets into individual notes. These are counted, bundled, shrink-wrapped, and placed in massive vaults until it's time to ship them out. The process is exact. The technology is cutting edge, and the results are bills that are not only tough, but trusted around the world. But what about coins? They may be smaller, but making them is no less precise or powerful. Let's head over to the US Mint and see how metal becomes money. How coins are minted. Turning metal into money, one powerful press at a time. Coins might not get the spotlight like paper bills, but they're just as important, and a whole lot tougher. Making them takes huge machines, detailed artistry, and more security than you might expect. The process begins with the design. Whenever a new coin is needed, like a special quarter or commemorative medal, artists and engravers at the Mint get to work. They sketch ideas, sculpt clay models, sometimes up to 12 times the final size, and eventually turn them into digital and physical molds. It's like sculpting something people will carry every day, says John Mercanti, who's designed over 100 US coins. You want it to last, and you want it to matter. After the design is finalized, a master hub is created, an exact steel version of the coin's image. From that, dies are made, 2 metal pieces that will stamp the image onto blank metal discs. Next, it's time for raw material. Giant rolls of metal alloy, usually a mix of copper and nickel, are fed into blanking machines, which punch out thousands of coin-sized discs, called blanks, every hour. The blanks go through annealing furnaces to soften them, then are washed, dried, and rimmed by machines that raise the edges, called upsetting mills. Now comes the most powerful part, coining presses. Each blank is slammed with nearly 100 tons of pressure, embedding the front and back design in a split second. Some presses can produce up to 750 coins per minute. After stamping, every batch is spot-checked for flaws. Then, coins are counted, bagged, sealed, and stored in secure vaults. The Mint produces up to 80 million coins a day, all under tight security. Cameras watch every move. Employees are screened. Even vending machines inside the Mint don't take cash, only cards. Where there's money, there's temptation, one security officer says, and where there's temptation, there's protection. So now we've seen how dollars and coins are made, but making money is only half the battle. Keeping it safe from fakes, that's the next challenge. And it's one the government takes very, very seriously. Let's explore what makes US money some of the hardest in the world to copy. Security features. Fighting fakes. Why US money is some of the hardest to copy in the world. If you've ever looked closely at a US bill, you'll notice it's not just green paper with the president's face. It's packed with tiny details that are designed to stop counterfeiters at every turn. In fact, US currency is considered one of the most secure forms of money in the world. And that's no accident. The security starts with the paper itself, which, as we covered earlier, isn't made from trees. It's a cotton-linen blend made by Crane & Company, and it includes special red and blue security fibers that are literally mixed into the pulp during the paper-making process. Next, there's the watermark, a faint image that appears when you hold the bill up to the light. It's not printed. It's embedded inside the paper, which makes it incredibly difficult to fake. Then there's the security thread. This is a tiny plastic-like strip that runs vertically inside the bill. It glows a different color under UV light, depending on the bill's denomination. The thread is also printed with microtext, tiny writing you can only read under magnification. For example, on a $20 bill, the thread says, USA 20, again and again. The closer you look, the harder it is to fake, one Treasury official explained. That's the point. Another major feature is color-shifting ink. On newer hundreds and 20s, parts of the bill, like the numbers, shift from green to copper when you tilt them. It's not a trick. It's a patented ink that's almost impossible to replicate with standard printing tech. And then there's microprinting, letters so small they look like lines until you zoom in. These are hidden in various spots, like around portraits or borders. Finally, there's the intaglio printing technique we mentioned earlier. This gives US money its raised, textured feel. You can actually run your fingers over it and feel the difference. Copiers and scanners can't do that. All these features come together like layers in a fortress, each one protecting the others. The result is a bill that's tough to duplicate and easy to spot if it's fake. But even with all these defenses, some people still try. So what happens when someone decides to go rogue and print their own fortune? Let's step into the world of real-life counterfeiters and the federal agents who chase them. The battle against counterfeiters. It's not just Hollywood. Real people try to fake fortunes. Counterfeiting sounds like something out of a movie, but it's very real and very serious. People have been trying to fake money since the first coin was minted, and the fight still continues today. Take the case of Wayne Victor Dennis, a man who, in the early 1990s, set out to create his own fortune by counterfeiting $20 bills. His plan? Rent a house, soundproof a room, and set up a massive offset printing press, all in secret. He bought ink, tried to match the paper feel, and even invented a fake aging technique using coffee grounds and starch to make the bills look worn. In the end, Dennis printed over $11 million in fake currency before getting caught. Busted in Las Vegas after one of his counterfeit bills was torn at an arcade and revealed white paper underneath. Game over. I felt like I was rich, Dennis said later, until I got sloppy. Stories like his are why the Secret Service was originally formed, not to protect the president, but to stop counterfeiters. In 1865, right after the Civil War, fake currency was so widespread that up to a third of all money in circulation was fake. It was threatening the economy. Today, the Secret Service still tracks counterfeiters across the globe. One of the biggest busts happened in Colombia in 2000, when agents raided a banana plantation and discovered a hidden press producing $3 million in fake bills a week. The tools used today to spot fakes are just as advanced as the money itself. Banks and retailers use UV lights, magnifiers, and detection pens. Secret Service agents study fake bills from around the world, tracking patterns and identifying printing techniques to hunt down the source. And not all tools are high-tech. Believe it or not, the Secret Service trains dogs to sniff out counterfeit bills by scent. Fake money doesn't smell like the real thing, especially when it's chemically treated or freshly printed. The war between moneymakers and money fakers is nonstop. But with every new version of the dollar, the Treasury tightens the defenses just a little more. So what happens to all the real money once it leaves the factories? Where does it go, and who makes sure it gets there safely? It's time to visit the U.S. economy's nerve center, the Federal Reserve. The role of the Federal Reserve. What happens to the money after it's made? Once the money is printed and packed, it doesn't just sit around. It's time to move. And that job belongs to the Federal Reserve System, also known as the Fed. Think of the Federal Reserve as the country's giant money hub. It's made up of 12 regional banks, each covering a different part of the U.S., from New York to San Francisco. These banks receive the new money from the Mint and the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, and then distribute it to local banks when they need it. But it's not just about delivery, it's also about control. The Fed doesn't just move money, it manages how much of it is in the system, says former Fed Chair Janet Yellen. Here's how it works. When banks have too much cash, they send it back to the Federal Reserve. When they need more, say for payday or holiday shopping, they request new shipments. This flow helps keep the economy balanced and ensures there's always just the right amount of money in circulation. The actual transport is a high-security operation. Forklifts load the money into armored trucks, and each shipment is tracked, guarded, and verified every step of the way. Inside the reserve banks, there are vaults the size of basketball courts, filled with bricks of currency. Every bill is tracked with unique serial numbers so that it can be traced all the way from creation to retirement. And yes, money has a lifespan. Bills wear out. On average, a $1 bill lasts about 5 years, while a $100 bill can last up to 15. When bills get too dirty or damaged, they're returned to the Fed and shredded. We shred more than $500 million in worn-out currency every single day, one Fed employee noted. That shredded money is replaced by new bills from the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, keeping the cycle going. But what if the money doesn't just wear out? What if it's burned, soaked, or destroyed? That's when the Bureau has one last trick up its sleeve. Mutilated money, replacing the destroyed. Burnt, soaked, or shredded. There's hope for ruined bills. You might think that if your money is damaged, it's worthless, but that's not true. In fact, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing has a special service just for that. It's called the Mutilated Currency Division, and it handles about 25,000 cases a year. Let's say your cash went through the washing machine, or maybe it was in a house fire, or a flood, or shredded by accident. As long as you have at least half of the bill and it's clear it was once real US currency, you can get a refund. Our job is part detective, part puzzle solver, says one currency examiner. We put together the money so people can get their money back. The tools? Surprisingly low-tech. Tweezers, knitting needles, scalpels, tape, and glue. It can take hours, sometimes days, to piece bills back together. Some bills arrive as ashes in plastic bags. Others are fused together from floodwater. One claim came from a woman who'd hidden thousands in her oven and forgot it was there when she turned it on. The bills were burned into a single black lump. Still, the team made the refund. If you ever need this service, it's completely free. You just send your damaged cash to the Bureau of Engraving and Printing in Washington, D.C., and wait. If they verify your claim, they'll send you a check for the full amount. And just like that, even the worst damaged money gets a second chance. But what if someone asked, why not just print more money all the time? That brings us to one of the most misunderstood and dangerous ideas in economics. Next, why printing money doesn't make you rich, and how it could wreck everything. So the next time you hold a dollar bill or drop a few coins into your pocket, remember, it's not just money. It's the end result of history, science, art, and security, all coming together to build something the world can trust. From ancient coins in Lydia to high-tech presses in Washington, the way we make money has changed, but the need for it hasn't. And behind every bill is a system designed not just to produce wealth, but to protect it. Money only works because we believe in it, as one economist said, and because the system behind it works, even when we don't see it. If you learned something new or just enjoyed the journey through America's money-making machine, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below with your favorite fact, and subscribe for more deep dives into how the world around us really works. Thanks for watching, and remember, spend wisely.